Today I'd like to talk about APMEX and the PAMP Swiss card that they sell, the APMEX order process, and the ability to see what you purchased over time and how much it was worth when you bought it and how much it's changed and how much it's worth now. These are PAMP Swiss cards, and I have some close-up pictures of them that I'll show here. These are silver bars, and they are sealed in this card that where you can see the front and you can see the back of the silver. And on the back, on the bottom, it shows a certificate number, the metal fineness, and the metal weight. One thing I like is they have these 1 gram gold pieces. When we started buying silver, it was a lot less, and it's gone up just in the last 5 years. But silver is a really good way to just start your metal reserve. It's always going to be worth something. It has been for millennia, and most likely that's not going to change. And what's nice about APMEX is almost all the gold and silver we've purchased has been through them, and the reason for that is they have a graph that'll show the different metals that you've purchased, and then below that graph, for us specifically, there's a silver and a gold, and then how much in weight, and then what you've cumulatively purchased that at, and then what that price now is worth, whether it's more or less, depending on what the market's doing. And like I've said in many other videos, I think it's important to diversify, and when you're investing, that could be 401k or just a savings account or mutual funds, or whatever that might be, but it's also good to have something that's tangible, just in case you run into a Venezuela or some kind of worst case scenario. This is always going to be worth something, and the value is going to change. And as things get worse, or the dollar is devalued, inflated, whichever way you want to look at it, kind of like the inflation percentage in Venezuela is skyrocketing. And that means that in Venezuelan currency, this small piece, this 1 gram piece of gold, could be worth a lot of money. One thing to remember with gold and silver is as the economy that you're in either inflates or the currency degrades, whichever way you want to call it, the price of this stuff will go up. And when you're looking at trade, if you're looking at that kind of scenario, you need to remember this. As of this last week, this 1 gram of gold was $50. If things start to fall apart like they have in Venezuela or in other parts of the world, this $50 1 gram piece of gold could be worth, even though it sounds crazy, it could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, just because the currency has just devalued so much. But what's nice is you can take this physical piece of gold, and say you're traveling, or you go to another part of the world where they are stable, which could happen. You could still take this piece of gold, and yes, while you could be in your home currency area where your currency value is crashing, this isn't going to change. It will be worth more in your currency because your currency is worth less, but you can take it to somewhere else where their currency is still stable, and you might not get as much for it as you did when you purchased it, because you might have purchased when your currency was starting to inflate pretty bad. But you can still take this and give it to someone else, and it's going to hold its value a lot more. Another thing you could do that holds its value really well is artwork. Classic firearms, modern firearms will do it too, but historical firearms hold their value really well and always go up. Artwork, antiques, those are all really good things to hold currency. The reason I really try and push metals that are sealed and certified with a certificate number is that if we were on the street and in a trade situation and you handed me a coin that was silver or gold or a piece of jewelry that looked silver or gold, I, as the person being paid with that metal, traded with, would have no idea of the authenticity of it. It could be lead that's, you know, gold leafed or something like that, and or even gold painted or something. And with these, I know, and the person I would be giving these to would know that this sealed piece of silver or gold, exactly what it is, because this Swiss card is internationally recognized. And as long as you keep it in this little thing and you don't try and tear it out of the plastic, you have a certified piece of metal that is just like having a certified signed letter or something like that for an antique. It gives authenticity, so everyone that's dealing with it feels comfortable. To start into this, it's really easy. You don't have to get the gold gram for 50 bucks. That might not be realistic, but you could get a few small silver pieces. I think you can get some of the smaller cards for around 10 bucks, $13, something like that. And it gives you a place to start. And I personally think that silver is undervalued. I think that it's a very high chance, you know, if the economy goes into recession or something, that even silver could go up, and just like it did, you know, a while back when it went from $5 or $6 an ounce to 12 or 14. That's a pretty big jump. And it's just a good way to spread your investment around and make sure that you're always covered financially. Plus, it's just comforting knowing that you have it, and you know it's always there. And even if your house burns down and something happens, it's gonna melt, and you know, worst case scenario, you take it to a goldsmith or somewhere, they melt it back down, separate it into your gold and your silver, and you're back at where you were. It's not like having cash or painting or something where, you know, it comes through and burns it and it's gone. I mean, it'll be a lump of weird stuff, but it'll be easy to melt and separate. Thank you for watching.